There's an interesting story of when I was the head of Tinder in Latin America that I would like to recount, and I recount in my book, Meta Leadership, to explain the concept of data sense making, what I call the ability of leaders to extract insights from data that is processed by AI, but that eventually leaves to the human reasoning and creativity the ability to identify the KPIs and metrics to be measured. And in the book, I recount the story of when I was, again, leading Tinder. And I would start off looking at normal KPIs as any other leaders would do. I would look at downloads and how they would evolve over time. And I started understanding that, downloads had increased from one day to the other, or weekly, or year on year, would not tell me so much about the app and about how it was going, because I wouldn't know what were the factors behind that. I wouldn't know what was the reason and how that would keep on, or change. So I started trying to identify new KPIs and metrics that would be more predictive of the future success for my customers and of the business. And so eventually I started identifying that the ratio of matches per swipe, and here's like a Tinder for Dummies for who's never used it. You have to swipe right on someone, and that person has to swipe right back on you, namely a like to match and to start a conversation. I understood that the ratio of matches on swipes would be a very big predictor of future customer satisfaction. Because let's think about it. If you have a high number of matches per swipe that you give, well, you feel empowered. You feel that people like you. You enjoy the app. You have lots of conversations. Imagine the opposite. You don't have a lot of matches per swipe, and so you swipe a lot and you don't have matches. Well, you don't get to know people. You start to get frustrated. You have a high probability of leaving the app. And so I started using this and other KPIs that I started to create based on the correlation between traditional metrics. And I started creating new ones. And that's exactly what I call data sense making in the book. I call data sense making the ability of leaders in the world of AI of outsourcing to AI the data processing part, the ability of AI to crank the data and extract insights. But then what leaders have to focus more on is their ability to pick the right metrics, to pick the right KPIs, and to identify what are the new KPIs that are going to be able to help these leaders differentiate their decision making from any other leader of any other competitor, and so on. Because imagine if we're like, and I use this analogy in the book, we're, jet fighters playing pilots, right? And so we all look at the same cockpit. Well, our ability to differentiate the way we fly our planes is limited because we all look at the same cockpit, at the same metrics. And so imagine that you start working on your cockpit and you tweak it to the way that you're able to extract much better insights and make better decisions from it. Well, these are the pilots that are going to be able to differentiate themselves in the way they fly. That's exactly what we need to do in the world of AI. We have to basically understand what are the new metrics that are important to our business, and that's the ability of leaders that practice data sense making, as I call it in the book. So for more information or for more details about data sense making, you can find it in my book, available across all libraries in the US and on Amazon, of course. So enjoy the read.